What's up, everybody? I'm here with Stuart Zagnit, the original voice actor Professor Oak from Indigo League. What's going on, Stuart?
Well, I'm here at Retro Replay, and I'm having a great time.
And it's an honor to have you here.
Oh, my God, thank you.
Yeah, we love having Pokemon people around here. So actually, I wanted to open up with some questions about your past on Broadway. I wanted to know who your favorite Broadway director to work under was.
Oh, that's a tough question.
Or if not, a top three.
Top three. Well, I worked with Jeff Calhoun, who directed Newsies. I worked with George C. Wolfe, who directed Wild Party. And let me see, who's the third that I worked with? Must be somebody. You're catching me off guard.
Good. Take your time.
I worked with a lot of people over the years, and it's always very exciting to work on Broadway.
I can imagine,
and especially shows like Seussical, which are a really big crowd pleaser.
And I heard you said you played the Onceler or the Lorax in that.
Nope.
No. Okay.
No, I did not. In Seussical, I played the mayor of Whoville.
Okay, that's right. I heard you mention something about that earlier.
Close, yes.
Speaking of your roles, what would you say your favorite role on Broadway has been out of every role you've done? Or the most memorable, if you don't have a favorite?
Well, I didn't do this on Broadway, but I did the national tour of Wicked, and I played the Wizard, and I love playing the Wizard. I played... regionally, I played Tevye and Fiddler on the Roof, and I love doing that. Also, another regional show I did, Max Bialystock and the Producers, which was a great fun workout. And then off Broadway, there's a little show called Little Shop of Horrors, which most people know.
Right, yeah.
And the original production was off Broadway at a little theater called the Orpheum Theater. And I was the last Seymour in the original production.
Really?
So I actually closed that show. That's great. Then 34 years later, I came back to play Mr. Mushnick in a revival of Little Shop that's playing right now.
Really? Okay.
So I've had some really wonderful opportunities.
So are you one of the only people that's in the original cast and then, the original cast and the new cast then?
I believe I'm the only person who's
done
both.
That's awesome. Yes. I love that. So
is great. Yeah.
Going into what you're more widely known for, how did you get your start into Pokemon? What was the beginning of that for you?
For me, it was as simple as having a friend who knew the original producers, and he said, "Hey, a buddy of mine is casting this new animated show, and they're looking for character voices." So he suggested I contact them, and they would audition me. So they did. And a couple of weeks later, they said, "We want you to do this professor character." And I said, great, okay. So it started as simple as that. And it was all new because there weren't any anime shows on TV.
Right, yeah.
And it was just great to have a semi-steady job because he wasn't in every episode, but enough to keep me busy.
Yeah, and he was a vital character to the series and still is in a lot of ways.
I'd say pretty pivotal because everyone remembers those episodes, especially the first one where Ash gets Pikachu through Professor Oak.
And if you look at a lot of other cartoons, especially in like the mid-2010s Cartoon Network, there's always this trope of like they'll parody Pokemon, like the beginning of Pokemon, and it's always like the main character is Ash, and then you'll see somebody else as Professor Oak. And so that idea is still kind of carried on through today. Even if your face isn't on there exactly, people are still like recognizing that scene in that moment from the series.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. Yes.
Yeah. And then what would you say was your favorite episode to record or be a part of the creation of?
Probably that first episode because it was introducing us and introducing the whole world.
Right.
And so it was every time we did a session, it was a new discovery.
Right.
And also the movies too. Like in the third movie, Oak got to be a little more dramatic because he saw things happening that were not normal, and he was very concerned about them. So I said, "This is a chance for me to play another side of him," which was a really nice stretch for me.
Right.
So I love that, and I also love the fact in the original episodes, the sense of humor that always ran through the show.
especially in Indigo League.
Yeah,
That was very cool.
they never lost sight of that, and I think that's what made the episodes memorable.
Right.
And to this day, I mean, people still love them and remember them. So I'm really proud to be having been a part
I
of that.
gotcha. And would you say that Professor Oak as a character is someone that you've developed like a close relationship with? You feel like you have a pretty thorough understanding of him at this point?
I would say that we have totally grown into one
Okay.
another, and now people will ask me to do like you can contact me through Cameo to do messages, and they'll send me a basic script. Well, I rewrite them in Oak speak, so that I wouldn't say something that he wouldn't say.
Right.
So I know the way that he would turn a phrase.
I got you.
And so it's so second nature to me now. So and it's very clear. So I love doing that and being a part of him and him a part of me. So.
Okay. I just got a couple more questions for you today. What advice would you give to up and coming people who want to get into voice acting? Maybe so more specifically in anime or just the art as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important to know your range, to know what you're capable of doing. So I would suggest if you're thinking about it, because of electronics now, it's so available to do a little home studio with a good microphone. You can set up using your computer or your iPad, and you can do sample voiceover things.
Right.
What you can get ads from newspapers or magazines or off the TV, and see what you're capable of doing, and and be really objective about it. Because I think everybody learns what their strengths are and what is not their strength.
Right.
So I'd say the best thing is to give yourself practice speaking out loud and hearing the playbacks and really becoming a little more critical of what you do and more aware of what you do. And that way you can expand your range, and then you have something to, if it comes down to it, if someone needs to hear something, you can do that. You're not afraid of it.
I gotcha. And my final question for you today is, what's your dream role? If any film director, any director whatsoever was going to call you up right now and say, "I want you to be the lead," what role are we going for?
I'd like to do Albert Einstein.
I could see that.
I would really like to see that. And I've had a couple of occasions in short form to portray him, like in a murder mystery for once, and some other things. And I thought, I think there's a connection there I'd like to explore. So, Albert Einstein.
Albert Einstein, ladies and gentlemen. Well, all right. It's great to have you here. Thank you for answering my questions. You've been a great person to interview.
Thank you.
Take care. See you guys soon.
Yes. Bye-bye. Catch them all.